So,
right, guys, cheers for coming down. We are doing this live on YouTube as well, so I have checked with Pete what swearing is allowed, and he said shit and fuck are okay, but no cunt.
not when there's mum in the front row.
Welcome to our second tasting of the day, and kind of one that I know a lot of people have been looking forward to for some reason. We have Wayne and Lee.
We haven't.
Wayne and Lee down. Traditionally, on the Brew York birthday, we do this as the first tasting. We do this mainly because Lee normally shows up so violently hungover. He has no idea. And this year, we pushed it back to 3:30, which honestly I'm slightly disappointed in the sport.
It's 3, but not 3:30.
But 3, right. So we're going to be trying 3 beers, which are part of the barrel aging for the birthday release. First off, guys, can you just introduce yourself, say a little bit about the brewery, because that's why we're all here, and what was the first beer that got you into beer? And it can't be Sierra Nevada Pale.
No. Okay, that's, I'm Lee, I'm one of the 2 founders of Brew York. I mean, what can we tell you about Brew York? I mean, hopefully you know by now, that's why you're here. But I guess, where am I from? I'm from York.
Where are you from?
Where am I from? Where's the brewery from? Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, we do occasionally get asked where we're from, and I once got asked when we were in the tap room in the city centre, are those vessels real or are they just for show? We spent tens of thousands just to make the place look good.
I enjoyed once doing a festival in Scotland, and they said, where are you guys from? And it's like, we're York. And he went, oh, I thought you were American, I thought it was New York. And I'm there going, yeah, this is a very distinctive Bronx accent.
So I think in terms of the brewery, in a nutshell, we're known for big, bold, flavour-forward beers, and we're known for having a little bit of fun with our branding and our names. I guess that's about as simple as I can put it.
Favourite beer?
The beer that got you into beer.
The beer that got me into beer, well, it's the same one like when you asked me this question yesterday. So I would have to say it's probably Rooster's Yankee. So back in the day, before craft was a thing, we had real ale that had American hops in, and I think that was the true advent of kind of craft in the UK. And I think Roosters, if you're wanting something 3.5 to 4.5 pale on cask, you're not going to find anybody doing it better. So like I said yesterday, when we had the pandemic, the thing that I craved the most was to get back to the pub and to drink a pint of Yankee, because we all did a lot of drinking through the pandemic, but you can't really replicate that experience of having a cask pint in a pub.
And for anyone who's joining us on YouTube or watching us from home, you probably will remember that we got to drink a lot more than a lot of other people during the pandemic, and we got to socialise because we did the work-based YouTube live streams, which this is part of them. So my name's Wayne, I'm the other half of Brew York. Hopefully a few of us in the audience know us already, but if you don't, Lee does the, what did the guy say on the radio this morning? Lee does the creative stuff, and what do I do? The business stuff, basically. Try and stop him spending is my job, which I'm sometimes quite good at. Sometimes he gets away with doing crazy stuff like the beers we're about to taste. So we've got an interesting lineup, and I'm coming in blind on this. I had a quick taste of the Golden Sour when Davide was packaging them in Warmgate a couple of days ago, but I've not tried any of the other beers, so this should be interesting.
What was the beer that got you into beer?
And given you said I can't go with Sierra Nevada, then you might boo and hiss, but it was Punk IPA. Yeah. So Sierra Nevada was one of the ones that I drank a lot of, and Punk IPA I thought was a great alternative to that. And then afterwards I discovered Jaipur, and then still my favourite beer now. So
it all went downhill.
Yeah, exactly.
So we just got the first beer out, which is the barley wine. So we have started off with the strongest, which is an excellent way to do it. A barley wine is a style that's very close to my heart. As I said in the previous tasting, barley wine, when God flooded the world in Noah's flood, he gave us 2 things to apologise. He gave us the rainbow and barley wine. So, Lee, can you tell us a little bit about what this is, with your extensive notes that are in front of you?
I wrote about 5 minutes ago, yes. So I think the bottle says this is 13%, but we have a little bit of discretion with what we put on the label versus what it actually is.
Is anyone here from HMRC?
And this one's actually 13.3, so we're starting pretty big and we're going to end pretty big, and we're doing something semi-big in the middle. So we've got it was originally designed to be an American style barley wine. So you've got American styles, you've got English ones. English ones are more kind of sweet, saccharine, kind of dessert forward, a little bit more complex, whereas the American ones are much more hop forward. You consider them more to be like a kind of supercharged IPA. Like if you made a dipper and just aged it for a very, very long time, that's kind of...
Is that maybe how a barley wine...
Plausible deniability.
That may have happened previously, but this one was designed to be a barley wine, and the ambition was more of the American side, so it does feature American hops. We've got Chinook, Centennial and Cascade in there, but I think the flavour profile has actually ended up being a little bit more like the English one.
It's much more caramel forward.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, it's real, like, dark fruits, caramel, a little bit of burnt toffee to it.
Exactly.
It's
yeah.
scary. I did finish off last night with a pint of this.
Oh.
And the taxi ride home was fun, apparently. And then I woke up this morning and just found my clothes just across the house. So I'm a very big fan of this.
So what we didn't tell you at the start of this was Bacon, or Tom as his mum calls him, Thomas possibly, used to work for us in our sales team a long time ago and used to go and do our events. And if I ever found him sober at an event, I'd be gobsmacked, because barley wine is his favourite style, and he kept begging us to make 2 different beers when he was with us. One was a barley wine, and the other was a lactose lager.
Right,
and I think we've probably done both of them by now.
Right, lactose lager, you're all laughing, you won't be laughing when it takes over the world. So imagine brewing a really crisp, clean Helles, a little bit lactose in it, Czech style Pilsner. No, that did not go down.
Are you surprised? Yeah. Right, so yeah, as you've kind of highlighted, we've got some caramel malts in there. We've also used a lot of brown sugar to give a kind of molasses-like character to it as well. This was brewed in our original site in the city centre. We can fit about 440 kilos of grain into that mash tun. So to make this beer, we filled it to the absolute brim twice. It requires a lot of sugar to get to this. And I've got to give some acknowledgement to Davide, who is our head brewer. He's designed this particular beer. Davide has an extensive CV, and one of the places he used to work was Lervig. And Lervig are very famous for barley wine. So he's taken his inspiration, is it Paradox?
Paradox,
yeah. He's taken inspiration from Paradox. In fact, I think this might be very, very similar to Paradox.
It is legally distinct.
But I think he's done a cracking job. And of the beers we're going to be tasting today, I've designed one of them. Davide, our head brewer, has designed one of them, and Jack, who runs the Warngate Centre for us now, has designed the other. So it's a real team effort, the beers were.
Is anyone here not normally a fan of barley wines?
Get out.
You're not in good company. I think quite a lot of the more modern barley wine style, much more of the American style, with that real bitterness and that booze sort of thing, whereas this is a warm hug in a glass. That can really get you into trouble, again, as I found out. But it's beautiful and smooth. Is this barrel aged, this one?
So yeah, this has been aged in bourbon barrels, but we haven't packaged everything yet. We also have more of this currently aging in orange brandy barrels that will come at some undisclosed point in the future.
Because over the course of 10 years, you've done quite a lot of barrel aging. The first release of the barrel age project was Empress Tom Coco in 2017, beginning of 2017.
Discreet, Joanna.
It's okay, nobody saw that.
Room didn't see that.
Subtle as a brick being thrown through a window. And how many barrels do you have in total now?
Oh, I mean, they're not all full. There's probably about 200, 250 in there.
Just a couple.
Yeah, but the way that, let's not get into too much detail on this, but the way Jackson really went after strong beers about 2-3 years ago means that the appeal for the consumer for these beers has massively waned, because they're so much more expensive now than they were. So we used to do a barrel aged beer a month. We do 4 a year now.
The duty on some of these has gone up 8 times what it was.
I think if you're talking about a 440ml can, it added about £2 overnight.
Yeah.
And that's £2, not 1 penny of it's coming to us, all of it's going directly through our hands to the government.
Yeah, we not to bring the mood down, but we're going to do that. Is we still pay the highest amount of duty in Europe and the UK, which is terrible. And 3 years ago, we had an entire duty format. that simplified the previous system of 3 different levels of duty to 27, just to make it really easy, and it really has screwed over quite a lot of brewers who were specialising in those big beers. Jack from Tartarus called us in tears because he didn't know if he could keep the business going. It's been really, really hard. So if you enjoy these styles, keep buying them and enjoy them how they're meant to. I think as a country we've kind of fell into quite a lot of, if it's not served in a pint, it's not really beer. So when you see like that 13%, and people go, well, 13%, it's like, how strong's wine? And this is to be drank and to be appreciated. It's called barley wine for a reason, isn't it? So while we get the next beer out, I was just going to ask, like, going on from duty free, what are the major issues that you're seeing as a business? Like, you guys seem to be expanding more and more, like taking on bars. Where are you seeing the main issues that we should be looking out for?
I think personally, and I'm sure Wayne will have his own thoughts, my key concerns would be with Gen Z and how they're not drinking. So our customers of the future are not drinking beer. There has been some relatively positive news that's come out recently, and it seems it's not that they're not drinking, they're coming to beer later on. So whereas we were starting in our early teens, probably, I think.
Once life starts getting on top of them.
Once the world's beaten them down a little bit more.
But what you're finding with the latest generation is that they consider it to be a bit of a sin. They've got all these influencers influencing them, for want of a better word. And they are therefore coming to beer much later on, usually about age 26 now, when they realise it's not the sin that everybody told them it was, and it can actually be a good means of relaxing and de-stressing and socialising.
Well, as we said yesterday, as we are all in our very late 20s,
10.
we understand what the Gen Zs are talking about. And Wayne, what do you see as the issues going forward?
There's lots of challenges. So our business has had to diversify quite a lot over the years. So 5 years ago, you'll remember COVID and the impact that had. So pretty much overnight we had to switch from our model of focusing on selling to pubs, to the on-trade, to then trying to focus on selling to the off-trade in cans. So we did really well early days and managed to get some good supermarket listings, which at the time was very boo-hiss. No one wanted to buy their craft beer from a supermarket. But if we didn't sell to supermarkets, we probably wouldn't be here now. We needed that reliable, steady source of income so we could still do the fun stuff we wanted. And that fun stuff was 2 to 3 beers a week for you guys to drink at home, because we went crazy at that same point in time by doing lots and lots of specials and trying to react to what people wanted when they were drinking at home. And then when pubs reopened again, we had to then adapt again to what the market was wanting, which was more traditional style. So we changed it again. We still do the fun stuff. We just don't do as much of it because unfortunately it doesn't sell as well as the regular styles now. So we have to constantly adapt. And now our business, we found that we needed to, that there's lots of competition for lines. Lots and lots of breweries out there, even though there's a lot going out of business, unfortunately. There's still lots of breweries out there, and it's not easy to get your product into as many bars because those bars don't exist anymore. So all your independent craft bars, venues are closing. So we've got to react to that. We've got to look at what products are selling well and try and compete with some of the much bigger breweries, which is really challenging. And then let's not talk about the government and all the challenges they put on us in terms of, Mr. Trump and his rampant desire to attack every nation that's not America and cause us, mass impact on the rest of the economy and not worrying about it.
Someone said to us the other day that they're sick of living through unprecedented times. I feel that every single day. You said how you've had to try and pivot the business so many times. What is the beer style or beer that you would like to bring back from the Brew York back catalogue, and why is it Kiwi?
there is a trend that if our production team really like a beer, the public won't buy them. It's really frustrating.
All that brewers want to do is make brown ales and red ales.
Hoppy red ales, hoppy brown ales, hoppy black ales, all these different styles that the public don't like, we love. So we always try that. And Lee keeps saying, "Oh, come on, let's do it." So we did the collab series last year, and one of the best beers we did was called Hell's Hound, which is a collaboration with Siren, a red IPA. No one bought it. It's so annoying, but it's a great beer. It's such a good beer. But it's those styles. But yeah, in terms of bringing beer back, I think I'd love to see Little Eagle back on cask.
Oh, fuck off.
Lee's favourite beer we ever made.
Yeah, we're not bringing that one back.
I can't believe you said the F-bomb in front of your mum.
Sorry, man. No, I think you've kind of taken the words out of my mouth. The things that I like most other brewers like to make are the things where you're trying to bring the balance between the malt and the hop, but have both in a really expressive fashion. And I think your red IPAs, your ambers, India stouts, even those kind of things, I love to make. But I'm just listing a whole host of things that the majority of people are not going to buy. So every now and again, the privilege of being the owner of a company like this is I get to pull rank and say, I don't give a shit if it's not going to sell. We are making it. And that's what happened with Hell's Hound. But I can only play that card every so often, otherwise the sales team will be completely disenfranchised.
Yeah. One of the big advantages of being the scale we are now, of having the main production facility here in Osberwick and also the original brew site in Warmgate, is we can do fun stuff still, and it's a small scale and we don't have to worry about selling it all straight away. It will sell on that scale pretty well. So yes, sometimes we do have to curb his enthusiasm by sending him to Warmgate to brew there again. But yeah, it is interesting. And the biggest frustration still for us is West Coast still doesn't get enough traction in the UK. So lots of these international breweries have came this weekend with West Coast, mainly because we chose which beers to buy, but it's still big in Europe, but it's just not really getting any traction again in the UK. So my favourite style of beer still is that, and that's what I want to bring back. I want more West Coasts, because they're a little bit more sellable than black IPAs.
Bring bitterness back.
You need to do more then.
Yeah, exactly. More Big Eagle.
Well, that nicely leads us on to this next beer, which is quite a departure from the first one. So this was, I think I was talking to you, Wayne, earlier about this. It was originally a collab with Fine.
Yeah, so if you guys know Fine Ales, hopefully you do. They make an amazing cask beer called Jarl. Well, they make lots of amazing cask beers, but Jarl's one of the most popular ones. They also have a side project called Origins, which is their wild sours. And when we got them down to brew with us a few years back, I think it was 3 years ago now, we brewed a beer with them at the time.
It was 4.5 years.
Was it 4.5 years? Wow. Wow.
I mean, earlier I was looking at
Time
the
is flying.
beer hall opening, and I'm thinking, God, that's like 2-3 years ago when I saw 2018, and I turned into like dust, like that Indiana Jones.
Definitely going off on a tangent here, but the funniest message I've got this weekend is from Luca at Green Gold, where he sent us a text message last night, and it was a photo of me and Lee in our stupid white t-shirts that York Press use, and he was laughing at Lee's green hair. It wasn't green, it was the York Press, and it was when you had that kind of like crop. I can't.
The boodle cut.
Gale Platt look. I don't know what it was, but it was good. So it's on the big screen, so you'll love that.
It was because if you choose to grow your hair, you go through that interim phase of just looking like a poodle, or what was it you used to call me in school? Sheep. The first time I attempted to grow my hair, I got called sheep for many years. But then eventually the curls grow out, and you get this, which is more about function than form.
So back on the original question.
So this is 4.5 years in barrels.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we spent a lot of money on Heather Honey, didn't we, back then?
Award-winning
Heather Honey, which you'll never taste because it'll have fully fermented and the residual taste isn't there. But it was, the quality's there. The guys, what was the first beer? Do you remember what it's called?
Show me the honey.
But what was the other beer we did? Was the Kraken one?
Release the Kraken? Was that with them? I thought that was with Fierce.
You guys are probably able to point out to us, but this has been this is the first ever truly wild, funky sour we've ever done. So it's really cool. I really enjoy it, and it's more your style than mine.
First and possibly the last. I mean, when we first started out making this kind of beer, we thought there was going to be a market for a lot of that kind of stuff, and Fierce, our good friends who launched at the same time as us in April 2015, they set up a side project where they were doing all this souring, and then they soon found that there wasn't a big enough market for it and they couldn't really sell it, and then in the end I think they sold on their barrels to Holy Goats, So we kind of followed their lead, but backtracked very quickly when we saw the lessons that they'd learned. So yeah, this stuff has sat in barrel for 4.5 years in Sauternes barrels, like a dessert wine, white dessert wine barrel.
One of our regulars from Hanley. So Osbaldwick, where we are now, this tap room we call Hanley Tap. So if you don't come here often, you might not realise that. But one of our regulars came up to me earlier and said, "Oh, is it you guys who've done the sour beer in the Sauternes barrels?" And I'm just like, "No idea what you're talking about," because I didn't realise what barrels we'd aged this in, because it was that long ago. And it's only when I saw Lee's chicken scratches here, and I was like, "Oh, this is who's made that beer."
This is literally the first time that Wayne's trying any of these beers, so you are getting a live reaction as we go along here.
And ironically, when we got into the room, I said to Lee, "Have you been in the sun?" And I feel like my face is just as red as yours now, because a couple of these beers,
it's warm in here.
not quite.
Not quite as red as me.
You need to drink more.
And how strong is this?
So this one's only 8%.
So this is the weakest.
Going easy on you.
So this is the session beer of the afternoon here. You've done extensive amounts of styles across the years, all the way from a beer that still haunts my nightmares, which was a black sour New England IPA.
Take the sour black.
Take the sour black. I sometimes still
that was
wake up
great.
screaming. Strange you did sound. Nobody wanted a black sour IPA. All the way through to your gorgeous 3.5% cask pales. Why do you see having such a large portfolio as being an advantage? Is it just to outfit the bars, or are you bringing some of those beers just because of how much you love them? And going through Barbershire and coming back into your core range?
I would say the initial driver was definitely us doing retail, having our own tap room, and then later on then expanding into various venues. So we launched with a fairly bold original range. We had Kiwi, which was a 5% brown ale. We had Big Eagle, which was a 6.5% West Coast. And we were trying to get people to drink these things on cask, which is not what people were really doing. So it was quite bold with what we were trying to do. But quite quickly we were told across the bar, "We love the flavours, we love what you're trying to do, but can you go a little bit easier on us? Can we have something sub 5, please?" So that's when we developed a beer called Jasa. And I think operating things like that has continued to evolve our range. We were buying someone else's, a craft lager, we weren't getting a mainstream lager, we started to buy someone else's lager. And then we eventually thought, well, we're paying someone a hell of a lot of money to bring in a lager here. I think it's about time we made one. So that's how that got added to the range. So a lot of meat necessity, I guess.
And a big chunk of it is staying relevant. So we're the old guys now. Well, we've always been the old guys. But we're 10 years old as a brewery, and there's lots of new breweries starting up still who are at the scale where they can still do the really fun stuff that we used to love to do. But we've got some big bills to pay, unfortunately, and we have to get the bills paid before we can do the fun stuff. So we've got to still stay relevant though and keep you guys interested. So you have to keep doing fun beers. And in almost every single one of our venues, we've got 10 now, by the way, 10 in time for our 10th birthday. Every single one of them, the biggest selling product by far and away is either Golden Eagle or Osprey. So our Pilsner or our lager, because even if we drink a lot of it as well now. But if you go to a craft beer bar, someone in the group usually drinks lager.
Just interject that, I remember 10 plus years ago, Lee turned to us and went, "I'll never fucking make a lager."
Or an English hop beer.
I'm never going to do it. Fucking hate lager, fucking hate English hops, and now it's the best selling beer.
Yeah, well.
And so a big part of it's that, and we want to still turn up at these festivals doing our really good stuff, but we won't get an invite if we just stick to traditional styles or big selling styles. No one wants to go to London Craft Beer Festival and drink our core range. They want our crazy beers. We want you to drink our core range because they're the ones that we want you to talk about. But we've got to be realistic, and let's put a barley wine on, and we know it'll sell out in about half an hour. And then you go and do those type of things.
And I guess me as the lead of the brewing team, and then everybody in the brewing team, we've all got low attention thresholds. So it's good to be doing new things all the time rather than constantly having to do the same thing all the time. And there is a part of us that would like to have that one big flagship beer that's about 60, 70, 80% of the range that then just makes life really simple. But a lot of fun would go if that's what it was all about. So we do really like developing the stupid amount of new beers that we do, which we dialed things back this year. We're only going to do 52 this year.
So that kind of leads on to the UK. You just got half pints of barley wine.
What threw me was you passed this round. I was like, that looks like a very funny imperial stout, and I've not seen the stout yet, so I was pretty concerned.
No, that's not the.
So with so many new styles, one of the things that I'm sure you guys get sick of is how do you come up with your names? My personal favourite is still Kylie Goes Lassie, which was the label was Kylie Minogue riding Lassie the dog with the Ethiopian flag behind it, which was a great beer.
Not a finest now.
Absolutely great. So how do you guys come up with the names?
Well, that particular one, I think I may have smoked something, but again, sorry, man. I mean, back in the days, it used to be myself and Wayne, probably a little bit more me, but good that we've had a great team develop around us, and we're able to now put it out to them and say, we're going to make this type of beer, it's going to incorporate these kind of ingredients. What do you think we should call it? And we have a little kind of communication tool, and there's a forum on there, and people submit their ideas, and there are people in our team who are really kind of rich veins of ideas for this kind of thing. Sam, our export manager, and her wife, they come up with loads of ideas. I think they just get pissed on Saturday nights and come up with beer names. So yeah, a lot have come from that direction. Pete, our marketing manager at the back of the room there, I think a lot of the onus falls on him these days. So I send him a recipe and he has to work out what the hell to do with that.
And then quite often the marketing team and the wider team have to rein me and Lee back because we're just getting too old now, and our references aren't relevant to the Gen Z generation in particular. But
I say people these days, they don't get your 1980s.
Yeah, WrestleMania tonight. You're excited about that?
I am actually. Can we just do a quick straw poll in the room? So I really like the fact that we do the puns and daft names, and I think that's very Brew York. And I think we're not doing as much of that as we used to. And I want us to do more of that because I think that that's what we are, that's who we are, that's our history. But I don't think that's a view that's held by the whole of the team. So,
I love the names. I think they're brilliant.
you love that. So, hands up if you want us to continue the kind of comical approach.
That is
So hands up if you'd like us to be a little bit more serious with our naming direction, etc. So Yusuf, Wayne, next time we're in a board meeting and this subject comes up, I'm going to remind you of this moment.
So we've just got the final beer that we're going to be having in this session. So this is the Imperial Stout. Lee, could you tell us a little bit about this? So this is the second weakest beer that we're going to have, isn't it?
Yeah, it's only 13% or so. I think the label on this one says 12%. So 11. All right.
This one's only 12%. Then it's not 13%.
Yeah, it's picked up a little bit more in barrel than we thought it was going to. So yeah, this is a little bit stronger. So it's pushing up towards 13, but definitely not 13. It's Imperial Stout that's been brewed by Jack at our original site. So once again, he's had to fill the mash tun multiple times to be able to get enough sugar. He supplemented that with dextrose. So a common trick to elevate the ABV, the strength of a stout, without increasing its residual sweetness, is to use highly fermentable simple sugars, like your basic kind of caster sugar, dextrose, that kind of thing. So there's a good whack of that that's gone in. And we've been using some interesting malts. One of my favourite malts is something called melanoidin. So it's something that can be generated through the boiling process of a mash. It can be created through like a decoction, which is a traditional lager production technique, or you can just use this malt that gives you that flavour anyway. So it's a cheat way of developing those kind of flavours. in a beer, so we like to use that. And there's another malt that was in the barley wine, which I neglected to mention earlier, which I think is my favourite malt in the world.
This is what brewers sit around and talk about. We have great fun at dinner parties.
It's
Special day.
it is Special B, yes. So Special B has a special place in my heart because I am a brewing geek, and it imparts this really kind of caramel, like raisiny type character into a beer, and there's no other malt that tastes the way that Special B tastes, and I can pretty much identify a beer that has it in because it is that distinct.
Do you know what my favourite malt is? Shit malt.
He is never going to tire of that joke. CHIT, so it's under-modified malt.
I told you we're great at parties.
And this has been aged in bourbon barrels, so what you're drinking here is the bourbon portion, but we also have some of this remaining in rum barrels that we're going to release at, again, some future time.
You're going to hand bottle it?
Oh yeah, something we should have said is all of these bottles, or these beers, have been bottled. They've been hand bottled by either myself or our head brewer, Davide. It's been some long and laborious days. So, and yes, and my sales director is telling me I must promote this as being on sale in the gift shop in there.
Beautiful label, really glittery.
And only 500 sets available.
And she was doing a much better job than me. And we only finished packaging it yesterday. This really went through the wire. So, oh yes, today's Saturday now, isn't it?
I've never been famous for doing things on time. I can remember when we were at the beer hall, still painting the steps as people are walking up one side of it. So I'd be disappointed if you weren't like pushing it to the absolute limit today.
Yeah, sorry. One last thing I wanted to say on this particular beer is it has been designed to age, so I wouldn't necessarily judge it on the profile now. It's got a high amount of dark malts in, more than you would ordinarily put in. And that's over time, those flavours can kind of break down and develop into a much more complex beer. So it really is about laying this beer down and seeing what it turns into rather than consuming it now. Or, if I could do my sales pitch once again, IT6. Bring one down, lay the other one down.
The issue I have is that I'm that much of a Yorkshireman that I buy like a bottle of Trey Fontaine for 30 quid, put it in my cellar and then open it up and go on. Can't do that. It's 30 quid on it. It's like it's just there to, until like me and one of my mates will come back and pull, open it and then fall asleep before we like drink it.
Well, you change bacon. You never used to buy any beer. You used to they'd go to a festival and he'd come back with a rucksack that used to weigh about 30 kilograms.
In my defence, Wayne at the end of festivals used to just go do your thing. Like hand me an Asda crate and I've just come back with like...
Earn yourself a mattress in that Airbnb.
And that is absolutely true.
Right guys, I realise we have been talking pretty consistently now for for almost 40 minutes. Just want to open the room up to any questions that you guys have. That's straight away.
Other than Brew York, obviously, which Yorkshire-based brewery do you guys think are doing the best work right now?
Oh,
which Yorkshire-based brewery? You put a good narrow on it there. That's good.
So I'm a big fan of a brewery called Bayonet Brewery in Northallerton. So they do some really good hoppy beers. I'm a family from Northallerton, so I get to try their beers a bit more. But they're doing some really interesting stuff, and they also host a beer festival once a year as well, which is good to go to. I'm
going to say two, because I can. I'm going to say on one end of the scale, Northern Monks. I think for all that they've grown, they're still doing amazing things, and and we love the guys over there. And the second one I'm going to name is one much closer to home and much smaller, is Trig. I think Patrick and Tom, the guys over there, are doing some amazing jobs, particularly with some of the more niche styles like your black lagers and things.
Their black lager's fantastic. It's
really
5.9%. Absolutely amazing piece of kit. That was a really good question.
Yeah, good question.
Right, okay. We'll start from here and work our way backwards. What can we do?
So I always thought that you came up with a name and then made the beer. But what you were describing earlier is the other way around. Which is it?
There's no one hard answer to that. Sometimes the name comes first and then we design a beer around it. But I think really, if you're going to do your best work, you make the best beer that you can, and then you decide what to name it.
Brew York once did a beer, and we thought of the pun first, and then pursued the brewery to do the collab with it, so the pun would work, which was the Two Tribes Skoda War, which it was a cherry and tonka bean imperial quadruple. And I remember one Friday afternoon, I was sat in the office, it was me and the ants. We're sat in the office, we get a call from Volkswagen head office, who went, "Hello, we've heard you've done a beer called Skoda War." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
It's like, what is it? It's like, "Oh, it's just an inspiring, it's a funny pun." It's like, that's all it is. And I went, "Oh, great, can we take a couple of crates of it for our party?" It was a 13% quadruple. That's great.
And we were sat there thinking, oh my God, here comes another cease and desist. They just wanted some beer.
How many cease and desists?
How many cease and desists have we had?
None for a while.
None for a while, but it's definitely in double figures.
We're not trying hard.
Yeah, and another thing about the names as well. Sometimes the name's too good and the beer doesn't live up to it. So Juice Forsyth. So I'm not saying Juice Forsyth now, but with the original Juice Forsyth, what was it? You remember?
Like 4% pale.
It was a session IPA.
Yeah, session IPA, and it just wasn't juicy. So we parted that beer and then came up with Juice Forsyth and decided we'd bring the name back.
Yeah, and we're not the first to do that kind of thing. The most famous example, I think, in our industry is Neck Oil, which is now probably the best-selling session IPA or best-selling pale, I would think, in the country now. But that started out as an English bitter. And it's do you know why it's called Neck Oil? So Logan Plant is the guy who founded Beavertown. His dad is Robert Plant, lead singer of Led Zeppelin. And Robert Plant likes his traditional ales, and he refers to beer as Neck Oil. So that's why they call that beer
Fun
that.
fact. Who's next? What can I do?
I guess a bit more general, but you've already mentioned Brewdog. It's clear that you still have like creativity, joy. There's a big commercial aspect to what you do. I guess having seen what's happened to that arc of a company, is there any way that you guys kind of like check yourself or think about that in how you operate the business? Because you've obviously been successful and the trajectory of that company has kind of gone really high and then just absolutely crashed. And
I wouldn't say there's any joy left.
but I mean, the fact that you're still here and kind of, because they sound like you don't.
Yes, so I was, I think, the 8th employee over at Brew York, and I always say we started out in a shed, and now the shed's got a lot bigger, and nothing really has changed from that.
I was sacked bacon ages ago. It doesn't work for us anymore.
I guess the fact that like there's still something that you're kind of doing right and keeping that in, like, is there anything that you actively do, or is it just, I don't know, it's just interesting.
I wouldn't say there's anything we're I wouldn't say there's anything we're actively and intentionally doing. I think it's more of an organic thing. And do we get as much fun out of it now as we used to? I'm going to have to answer that in a particular way. Yes, but no. So yes, it is still fun, but it's a different kind of fun. I'd have to be
doing a marathon that you hate at the time.
Yeah, and then you get the rose tinted glasses and stupidly go and do those kind of things again. But what I mean by that is the most fun I personally probably had in our time was when it was me alone operating that brew kit with my tunes on in the background, and then serving the stuff across the bar on a Friday or a Saturday night, and getting to see that direct correlation between something we had made and you as the punters receiving it. But now, there's almost 200 Brew York employees. That comes with a lot of pressures, a lot of responsibility, and a lot of issues that we could never ever have predicted. So now it's different, but it is still incredibly enjoyable, and I hope the way in which we talk conveys the passion that we still have for what we do.
And it's very, very different. When we started, and there was a handful of us, it's very, very different to what it is today, because everyone just had to help out and just jump in and do stuff that isn't your job. But it's great, it's fun, it's beer, it's romantic, it's great, and it is still romantic and great. It's just a lot of hard work as well, and
we are looking back on those early days very much rose tinted glasses, because it was grim at times. But once made me sleep in a cupboard in London. Anyone wants to see the picture afterwards of the worst hotel room they ever set me in?
I mean, well, speaking of the pictures, have a look at the big screen in there. You can see the physical effects of what we're in the brewery does to a man. I am quite literally twice the man I once was.
Yeah, so it's very, very different, but it's still really, really an amazing industry to be in. We've got 10 breweries who've flown across Europe to visit us for this weekend, who we get to hang out with. They tell us about how their business works, and we get to learn from them, and they get to learn from us. There's not many other industries that are like that. They've got. And most of the people who are across aren't the owners of the business. They're people who work for them who are happy to come and spend a weekend in a warehouse in York serving you guys beer and talking about beer, something they're passionate about. And a windy tent. So it is a great industry. We're really fortunate to be part of it. And Bacon as well. He's currently about to change job, but he gives up his weekend to come here and talk about beer. Well, we pay him in beer. Yes.
So this is my 6th time running the talks at Brew York birthday, and every year I always say yes. And Wayne went, "Oh, this year you can drink for free." It's like, I've not paid for a Brew York.
He thinks I don't know that. Of course I do. He's never paid for a beer when he's working in Brew York. So.
And you're doing how many of these tastings whilst drinking before going off to do a stag do?
Yeah, I'm off on a stag do this evening.
Preloading.
It's great. It's great. I feel really well.
But thankfully, Bacon has been practicing for years, so he will be fine.
I've put some effort into this beautiful physique that you see in front of you. This is it is. Oh God, I'm so much older than we used to be.
Should we do one more question?
Yeah, I was going to say there was one more question. I think at the back. Oh.
Fantastic talk, guys. Lovely to be here.
Don't compliment them.
I'm a massive dark ale sort of malt fan. Can't do the IPAs, and I'm constantly going to the pubs where they're saying, "But the dark ale isn't selling. I can't put it on unless it's winter or sort of start of the year." Yet I spend so much time talking to so many people who enjoy the amazing dark ale that you put out, which aren't always the 13%ers, although I love them as well, don't get it wrong. Is that right? Is that because you've got to make the money? I totally understand that, but I'm just interested to hear your perspective as opposed to the publicans who are saying things aren't selling. Does that make sense? Sorry.
The issue with stouts is people don't produce them in summer because they don't think they'll sell, so they're not available in the summer. So people don't sell them in the summer, and it's just I'd say it's a snake eating its own tail there. That it's the problem is causing itself. All weather is stout weather. Pints and casts to make you strong. 5% oatmeal stouts are one of the finest styles of beer, and so I live in the beautiful English Riviera of Sheffield, and my local pub's a little pub called Real Ale Corner, and it's always got a 5% oatmeal stout on, and they fly through it. So I think it does just depend on where you're going, and also the breweries themselves.
Yeah, and unfortunately, as much as we'd love it, I don't think you guys are representative of the general population. So when we look at the stats of our bars and what sells well, that does help us drive our production schedule a little bit now. But it's very, very interesting. The biggest challenge you've got, there are stouts available all the time in most pubs of the country. It's usually Guinness. And if we can convince people to drink something like Black Bess instead of Guinness, then we're winning. The problem is Guinness have got a lot more money than we have. So they can convince a landlord to stock their product a lot easier than we can. And despite the fact that our product is probably 70% of the price of Guinness, the Guinness will probably spend 30 grand refurbishing your pub for you if you stock their product. So we can't do that. So it's really difficult, and you're not going to get many landlords who will stock more than one stout in summer, because unfortunately there's not enough people drink stouts. We can gather them in a tent and you can all drink imperial stouts with us, but once we go off to the pubs, we'll spread thin, and that you're not going to move enough volume of it. And the landlord's always going to choose a product that moves quicker because he'll make more money from that.
Yeah, it's sort of like the self-proclamation. For example, like last week I was over at Torside at Smokefest, and there's 200 people there all drinking smoked beers. And if you asked any of them, they'd go, "Oh, we need to make more smoked beers." Kind of a representative nature of the rest of the
Was the food vendor a hot dog vendor by any chance?
we had a smoke gun, but you could just smoke anything, so we smoked giant Watsits.
You literally had a Watson in your mouth smoking it.
Like, going into a charity who was going, which woods would you like? It's like, I would like maple wood, please, as I handed a bag of Watsits. It was an interesting day.
Thank you.
Pete, have you got a question there, mate?
Yeah, just one last one, because obviously we're celebrating like a 10-year milestone, like for Brew York as a business. Where do you see the brand in 10 years' time from now?
Oh, come on, you could have warned us you were going to land that one.
That's high expectations that these two are going to survive.
Well, I think one thing is pretty clear is that last March was the first time that we made more money from people drinking in our bars than we did selling beer to other people's bars. So, as of last March, we're no longer a brewery, we're a hospitality company that is backed by a brewery, and I can only see that accelerating. Like Wayne said, we've opened our 10th venue. It breaks some really good new ground for us as Brew York in terms of what we could do in the future. We have other projects of that nature that we're talking about. There are other venues that we're looking to acquire. Obviously, we have to be very conscious of the way the economy is right now, so we're not going to run headlong and just take any old thing. It really does need to represent a good opportunity for us. But I think retail really is the direction of the company that's going to drive everything, and then the rest of it will be shaped around that retail strategy.
And someone earlier said about what we look at, what's happening in the industry, and Brewdog in particular, and what they did and what we can learn from that. One of the things we definitely can learn is we won't run before we can walk. Yeah, don't be ourselves. Well, we can't promise that. But we won't be ourselves to you guys. We'll just be ourselves to each other. Brewdog, for all their good and bad, I used to really like some of their bars. Didn't like all of their bars, and I found that they were just trying to grow too big too quickly. Lots and lots of bars, and not all of them up to the same standard. So that's what we've got to be really careful about, because even at 10 bars, we've got, I'm not going to tell you which ones, we've got some in our portfolio that we really want to improve and build upon to get to the same standard. So we're not going to rush, but we want more venues, and we want them to all be not the same, but the same experience. And it's really important that we get that right, and we have the team around us who can make that happen. Because we don't want to expand too much and fall short by not doing it right.
Yeah, I'd say Will and I always joke about me wanting to spend money and him being the prudent chartered accountant, etc. But there is one advantage to having a chartered accountant as a business partner. It means, comparative to some of our peers, we're not laden with debt. We are not pursuing growth at all costs. We are doing it in a sensible, scalable way. So hopefully that means down the road, touch wood for us, we're not going to have the same kind of issues that Brewdog have had. No.
Right, guys. We over a little bit. I can see Yusuf and Pete getting a little bit twitchy here. So, guys, I just want to say thanks for coming down. You've been a really lovely crowd this afternoon here.
Can we just say
Thank you.
3 cheers for Liam Wayne?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I was going to say, when someone sings Happy Birthday in a restaurant, this is the equivalent feeling.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, everyone, and but more importantly, thank everyone who works for Brew York, not just us. There's a lot more of us than
I was going to say, we've got a team who's been helping us out all day.
So thank all those guys.
Guys, I always finish off with the same quote I do every time. It's from the finest piece of art of my generation. Some people would say of all time. from Gilmore Girls. Let us drink, for tomorrow we shall be in much pain. Guys, thank you very much for coming down. I'll see you all soon.
Cheers.